What is up, my people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy Nassim the Dream, and welcome back for the annual NTD Awards. It is that time again, ladies and gentlemen. This will be my second time doing the NTD Awards, but I'm going to be doing way more than I did last year. If you've been keeping up with my recent videos that I came out with last week, you would know that I announced my upcoming videos that I'll be coming with this week and so on. But this week will just be a fun week dedicated to some videos of my top list that are mainly just for fun, don't really have anything to do with my niche. So of course this list is based off the video games that I have played this year. Of course there's probably going to be a handful or two that I haven't really got to try out or maybe didn't really enjoy just because it's not my thing. But without a doubt, the games in this list are 110% worth checking out. We're going to start off with my number 3 spot on this list, and that I will be awarding to the brand new game from Guerrilla Games. Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West is the sequel to Guerrilla Games' Horizon Zero Dawn, and this game sets place into a post-apocalyptic version of what seems to be some kind of like Western US covering the aftermath of an extinction event caused by a rogue robot swarm. This game sees through the eyes from my protagonist Aloy and continues on with this next chapter into the story. Now, I will be naming some pros and cons when it comes to some of these games that I will be naming in this list, but I will say the third spot right here for Horizon Forbidden West, it does have the most cons. But without a doubt, the pros certainly weigh out those cons, and the pros go about when it comes to the first thing that comes to my mind, easily the performance that has been updated with this brand new game. So this game does add the same amount of things that we first seen when it comes to combat from the first game, but they also add a lot more when it comes to certain combos, certain skill elements, a lot of weapons and armor that you can get in this game, as well as the variants of machines that there are to explore in this world. There are just so many things you can do. It's just non-stop amount of gameplay. Whether it is you want to collect parts from machines to upgrade your armor or even your weapons and so on, or if you just want to continue on with the story, and there's a handful of side missions that I thought were really fun too. The score is something that I really thought was one of the strong points for this game, as it makes the battles, the narrative, and everything composed with what this game upholds is absolutely amazing and really thrilling when it comes to the score. This game is without a doubt immense when it comes to the graphics and visuals that they offer, when it comes to whether you want the performance to be prioritized in the video game or you want your resolution to be. But in my opinion, picking performance is just a no-brainer, as you still get that 4K resolution, but now you're just in 60 FPS. And with the new things that the PS5 controller and the console itself really offer, this is just a game that is just way ahead of its time, and it's just a big step ahead from the first. Now, I will say, with all the adventurous things that this game really has, the amazing eye-gasmic graphics that they really have and visuals, there are some really lukewarm moments in there. I will say that the narrative wasn't as executing and engaging as the first one. This is something I do want to revisit when it comes to my second gameplay, what I may give in the future sometime. Off the top of my head, really say that I wasn't exactly that memorable, that engaged, and I didn't really care about some of the side things that you can really say. As in the game, you can really continue on your conversations by asking more questions to some people, getting more answers, finding out more details about the story. And I gotta admit, this is one of the titles where I just kind of got bored at a certain point, as much as I really did want to find out more and more. And I just kind of didn't care. Not the shit on the game or what it really offers. I do think this is a decent story, but I don't know, there really was something that was missing from this when it comes to collectibles, when it comes to the combat, what you can really do when it comes to building your skill set, how you really want to go about playing the game, when it comes to side quests, the main quest, doing some small labors. There's just a lot to do in here. It is a lot of fun. It is beautiful to look at, and it is easily in my top 3. Moving on to my number 2 spot, I am gonna have to give that to The Last of Us Part 1 remake. The Last of Us is a 2013 original make from Naughty Dog that has been remade and revitalized in 2022 to go along in more seamless transitions into The Last of Us Part 2. In the game, you play as Joel Miller, our main primary protagonist, and then tag along with the secondary protagonist, Ellie, as these two adventure along through the US to hopefully deliver Ellie into hopes to make a vaccine. Now, I get it. I know what you're thinking. NTG, this isn't a brand new game, it's just a remake. I know, okay? But I have to say hands down what Naughty Dog really does when it comes to this remake. There's just so much beauty into the revitalization and just exactly what they really do when it comes to what they were really aiming for this game is just pinpointed spot on, because going from this game to The Last of Us Part 2, it's just amazing. And what they do to improve this game to make it more accessible to PS5 features, it is just hands down flawless. Not only is the game have one of the best post-apocalyptic narratives ever, not even just in video games, of all time, this also just feels like a brand new gaming experience, one that original players of the original game can really enjoy. And I think the ones who can really thrive off this game are the ones that never even tried The Last of Us. And it's just a huge difference when you really think about how beautiful it looks when it comes to the reimaginations and how these characters look, how they speak, how they move, and not only that, how the gameplay feels. But giving more praise to Neil Druckmann's original title, there's just so much praise when it comes to what this game does as a horror adventure game. Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson really carried this game on top of their back. It's such a sole reason of why the narrative is just so engaging, so dramatic, and just so impactful when it comes to the emotion it tries to inflict, when it comes to how depressing and how disturbing this post-apocalyptic world can really be. This game, hands down, even at this point originating in 2013, has one of the best intros I've ever played in a video game, one of the best combat builds that I've ever played in a survival horror game, as well as great variety of to how you really want to go about and play this game. In my opinion, playing it on the hardest difficulty is just a no-brainer. I get that some people kind of want to relax when they play video games. I'm definitely like that for a lot of video games as well. But when it comes to titles like this, it's best to play it at the hardest difficulty so you can really feel the experience of how it actually might be. When it comes to playing this on Survivor and then even possibly even unlocking Grounded, but on this game you do unlock each difficulty and can even make customs. That's what makes The Last of Us really pop out and really make this so realistic of how scarce resources are, how difficult it is to really fight baddies and these zombies, and how you can easily get one-shotted. And in terms of strategy of how you really got to think about going through obstacles, as you can't really just go around waving your gun in the air and thinking that you could just shoot your way out. In conclusion, The Last of Us Part 1 Remake is just a brilliant idea of what to really engage The Last of Us players, and especially to get us prepared for the brand new show that will be coming out in January of 2023. It's just incredible what the developers really did when it comes to building the graphics and the performance to really suit the PS5 and really can go as far as performance. And it's without a doubt one of the best games of all time. All right, we are in the #1 spot. Now, if you know me personally, this is just a no-brainer of what you really thought I would even pick. You didn't even have to even ask, honestly. Without a doubt, the #1 game, the best title I played in 2022. God of War Ragnarök.
We will make our own destiny.
God of War Ragnarök is the sequel to the God of War 2018 phenomenon that won Game of the Year that year, as well as building and creating some brand new gameplay that is just completely different and completely evolutionary to the player that's already familiar with the God of War origin in Greek Athens. I think it's easy to say, in these 4 years, the hype that Ragnarök had built, especially because of how great God of War 18 was, it was too high. Like, it was incredibly high when it comes to everybody's expectation. And I think me and myself and a lot of players that are familiar with these titles, they can easily say that this is the best God of War to ever be made. Santa Monica Studios not only brings back the same combat style that was also loved in the 2018 game, but builds on it even more with more incredible builds, better armor, better skill sets, better ways to use your side characters such as Atreus, helping you out and through this journey. Even more amount of boss battles, more amount of variance in comes to what you find into side bosses or even actual big baddies. An even larger expansion of the open world, as in the original 2018 title, you can only access, I believe it was 5-6 realms, and in this brand new title you get to access all 9 of them. And some of these realms, especially Vanaheim, is fucking huge. The things they have to offer when it comes to collectibles, finding lore, finding enemies to beat so you can upgrade your armor and your weapons, secretly finding more dialogue and narrative as you just walk through your journey, that is just so important to the people that have been around the God of War title since the beginning, is just incredible. It's mind-boggling that they really even added some of the small touches. With 60 total hours of gameplay when divided with the story and the side stories, this game just puts what the first one already had that was already really good and just doubles it this time, even in some areas triples. It's unfathomable how good this sequel is and how important it really is to the entire lore of God of War. The story just has something so brand new, so poetic, and just so emotionally impactful that it just does something to the player. That there's so many people that I've seen play and so people that I know personally that play the game that have been touched in so many different ways emotionally. I haven't heard a single person say that they haven't teared up. Christopher Judge voicing Kratos and Sonny Sujic voicing Atreus are just on double performance when it comes to this brand new game. They really brought their A game in the 2018 game, and in this one, double that. These two click so well when it comes to working with each other. They make you love these characters even more, and I think what's even more crazier about this brand new title, they make you care about characters you normally wouldn't care about in any other game or story. Characters such as Sindri or Brock were some characters in the first game that you already really enjoy their presence, and they're just something that they're really just kind of a smaller aspect into the story, but they still really have some kind of enjoyment and when it comes to building humor. But in this one, they play a totally different role that they make you care about so much, as well as they do with Freya's character development as well. It's unmatched. The character development for these characters is unmatched. Atreus has only been around in 2 titles. It has grown so much from the 2018 title, and if we're gonna even talk about Kratos, you can't tell me you're not a God of War fan if you aren't incredibly satisfied, overwhelmed, and just emotionally overwhelmed with joy, laughter, and sadness for what they do for such a beloved character who's been through so much terror and chaos. Christopher Judge has done something for a character that I think most people, even in some live action tales, could never do. Stepping into some big shoes for a character that was already beloved and hugely praised over most characters, especially in the Sony community. Christopher Judge does something special and is just a part of something so important for Kratos that you just can't help to feel like this is the true Kratos. In this game, I laughed, I cried, I smiled, I just all over the place on the emotional spectrum. I couldn't tell you that they would have done this with this title because it had so much expectations from me as well, and I knew it would reach it somewhat closely. It's time-lapsing from far away of how much it's really exceeded those expectations. The director, Eric Williams, has just done something so historic with the God of War Ragnarök title. It's just made me so eternally grateful to even get such a story so executed well. The writers, you could tell they cared so much about these characters. You could tell they cared so much about the fan base, and you could tell that they cared about building off on a game that was already so incredible, so enjoyable, so returnable to play again, and they just triple that value with God of War Ragnarök. And on top of that, really executing the feels that it really makes you want to feel, scene by scene, fight by fight, battle by battle. The score from Bear McCreary is just unmatched. As each of these games have incredible scores that make you really feel the moments that it's trying to feel, Bear McCreary, he excels. He excels when it comes to scores for, I'm not even gonna say video games, I'm just gonna say for scores of all time. Working with Hosier to make such a beautiful post-credit single and just making so many different moments in the score just so epic, so sad, just so much emotion developed into this. I can't fathom how much I love this game. I can't fathom how really good it was. I can't fathom how far it really excelled at expectations. Certainly is my favorite game of all time, for a great reason. From a fan that's been around since the beginning, understanding how Kratos is, what he's done, and what has happened to him. Going to this point in this game, unimaginable. Literally said in the game too, you never would have thought. I am eternally grateful for this title. I cannot wait to replay this game as I am in the middle of it right now. I just started my replay last night. It's a game that I highly recommend. Even if you didn't play the original titles, guys, you definitely at least need to play God of War 2018. And God of War Ragnarök is just easily game of the year in my view. Don't shit on me because I'm not an Elden Lord, okay? I tried Elden Ring if I was really into From Software games. that game would really knock my socks off. I mean, some of the gameplay and things that I just hear about from players and I see online, it makes me still want to return to give the game another try. And one day I probably will. As well as I give congratulations to From Software for earning, and I mean it, earning Game of the Year, as I just really don't understand personally, but based off what I've been seeing, based off what I've been hearing from players that have been familiar with From Software games for a long time, I believe that it really has earned Game of the Year. But without a doubt, even if I play that game all the way through and I love it as much as everybody else, there's no way that God of War Ragnarok will never ever not be my favorite title ever. Guys, that is my top 3 video game selections of 2022. Let me know what you guys thought of that down below. If you tried the games out, let me know what games you really love to play down in the comments below. I'd also love to hear your opinions on that. Be ready for the next videos that come out this week, guys. Catch you in the next one. Doses.